You're an outside the beltway. I'm John Fredericks, and I am your blowtorch of free speech in America. Your oracle of the deplorables. Change mics here, so until we figured out what that echo was, we're going to go to a different system, and we'll go from there. Good to have you with us. Want your calls, want to get back, as always, 888-480-5646. Want to start by saying how you can save money on your taxes. You know, billionaires take advantage of the tax code because it's 2 million pages. Now, you love your accountant. I love my accountant. I don't want anybody to get between me and my accountant, as they know my business. They know kind of what's going on, but they can't read 2 million pages. So ETX, Engineer Tax Services, is tax literacy for MAGA. Julio Gonzalez started the company, brilliant guy, tax guy forever, has a whole staff. All you got to do is send them your taxes before you file. Get them done, send them to them. No charge. They'll look it over. And if they find things that can accrue you additional savings that your accounting team has not found, they're only going to charge you 1% of the savings that you actually get. Now, they'll send it back to you. You can review it, send it to your accountant, and they'll be like, wow, because, we just did that with 24, and we found another $15,000 that we're going to be able to save by doing things and taking advantage of the different things in there. With pensions and other things of that nature. But we didn't ever known that. Our accountant didn't know that. There's so many different things, especially with the new tax bill now in the big, beautiful bill. So look, take the first step and send your stuff to Julio. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain, nothing to lose, zero to lose, because that doesn't cost you anything, right? Talk about affordability, more money in your pocket potentially. So all you have to do is text the letters E, Engineer Tax Services, ETS, text the letters ETS to the number 26786, ETX to 26786. And then you're good to go. And then they'll contact you. There's no obligation. And they'll engage. And maybe you want to send them your 24 taxes like we did, or send them 25 before you file them. Because otherwise you got to, do a refiling and all that. Takes them about 2 weeks. So, if you get them filed and, you get them done in February, send them to them. But engage now so you know what's going on. Great people, great company, tax literacy for MAGA. We got to take advantage of every opportunity out there, especially the big, beautiful bill. So all you got to do is text ETS to 26786, and you're going to love Julio Gonzalez and his team. And I love Sammy. Sammy's our guy. He's part of the team, did a super job. I love you, Sammy. All right, let's get to Sean in Newport News. Sean, you're live, line one. Sean, you just got 1776, baby. Checks in the mail.
1776! Woo! Thank you, Daddy Trump. I got a picture of Trump in a Santa suit. I'm putting it up on my office when I get to work. I'll be there in about 20 minutes. Santa's coming to town, baby.
I mean, you turn in a speech and you find out they're mailing you a check for 1776. What do you think? Does it make a difference in your life?
It makes a huge. So I didn't even go Christmas shopping yet. It's been a little tight this year. Prices are up. And the wife and I were talking literally yesterday what we're going to do. We're just going to give each of our kids $200 cash. Well, now we're going to give them, $400 cash each. My wife's going to get $700 cash, and I'm going to pay off some credit cards.
It's good. It's good to be in MAGA.
All right.
It's good to be.
I don't get to be creative. I'm just excited.
Well, you should be excited. I mean, what do you say? 1,400,000 something active military in the United States are getting a surprise check for $1,776 in appreciation, a bonus from the tariffs. That's a pretty good deal, right? Just before
you and I were always on board with these tariffs, and we were getting our butts kicked by, rhinos and Democrats, and hey, worked out, didn't it? I love tariffs. Love them.
I love tariffs. You should have a bumper sticker. I heart tariffs. Told you these tariffs would work. Now, it's interesting. The next step is the $2,000 tariff rebate, which is coming. He couldn't he couldn't promise that last night because they haven't done, they haven't done all the due diligence on it to be sure they have it there. And also they're a little concerned about if SCOTUS strikes down and they have to get lawsuits to give money back, they need the money in there. But I know they're working on that, and that's going to be the next time you get an address, it's going to be everybody's getting $2,000 tariff rebate, which I'm 100% in favor of. 100%. That's our money. They've been, and like Trump said yesterday, they've been ripping us off forever. Screw that. Level the playing field. Tariffs, baby. Sean, Merry Christmas to you, your lovely bride, your family, and enjoy your 1776. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, John.
Now put 100 away in an envelope, and on the envelope, put Colonial Downs with John. Save that when you come to my suite, and you'll have a little green for the scene, as they say.
Works for me.
I'll pick you some winners.
I'll be there.
I'll turn that 100 into 500. Plus, I'll give you a winner tomorrow night, Oklahoma plus 1.5. Just saying. Thanks, Sean.
All right, we'll see.
All right, buddy.
I'll see Colonial Downs. I'm there. All right,
All right,
bye.
man. Just put 100 away and you'll forget about it. All right, let's get to a former police chief in DC, Stephen Sund. I'm sorry, Capitol Police Steve Sund is with us. Steve, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, John. And Sean's pretty happy about that. And I'll tell you, he has every right to be happy. The men and women in the military deserve that.
Former chief, U.S. Capitol Police. And look, our military, they work so hard. They away from their families, and great bonus, great present by the President Trump on Christmas. I'm going to play a clip here for you. This is on Fox News. The U.S. House report accuses D.C. police chief of cooking the books on crime data. Shocker. Roll it.
Led a House Oversight Committee now releasing a report accusing the outgoing D.C. police chief of manipulating data to artificially lower crime statistics. Bill Malusian looking at the numbers. He's live on the Hill with this. Bill, what you find out?
Bill, good morning to you. Those House Oversight Committee Republicans say the bottom line of what their investigation found is that the outgoing D.C. police chief was essentially cooking the books on crime data and trying to make the city seem a whole lot safer than it really was. Now, those House Republicans say what their investigation consisted of was interviewing all 7 commanders of D.C. Metro Police's patrol districts, including a former commander who's currently suspended for allegedly tampering with crime stats in his own district. And these are some of the conclusions they've made in their report. They allege that D.C. Metro Police Chief Pamela Smith pressured commanders to report lower crime stats by any means necessary. The commanders testified that Chief Smith even pushed them to pursue lesser charges that aren't publicly reported, even for serious crimes, and she required certain crimes to be reviewed by her office. Now, the report also says police commanders testified that Chief Smith punished them and retaliated against them if they tried to report accurate rising crime data, even berating them in meetings and individually to pressure them into reporting those lower crime figures. Now, in a statement on the report, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says in part, quote, Chief Pamela Smith coerced staff to report artificially low crime data and cultivated a culture of fear to achieve her agenda.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. What are they doing here, Chief?
It's maddening. And when you look at the report, the meeting that they're talking about, there's a weekly meeting that they have with their 7 district commanders. It's called the weekly crime meeting. The nickname for that among the commanders is the crime beating. So when they talk about her coercing them, I don't doubt that. But what's key there is they interviewed the 7 patrol commanders. When I was with DC Police, I ran their special operation division. So I attended the meetings, but I didn't report on crime because crime wasn't part of my main purview. I wasn't one of the district commanders. But the 7 district commanders all testified that they had been coerced into reporting lower numbers. And the city council had actually passed a legislation that allows them to do like an intermediate charge, which is really scary. So ultimately, they're not reporting the part one offenses, which would go to the FBI, the murder, rape, robberies, things like that. They're reducing them so they can not have to report them on the part one offenses and can do their own reporting. The worst part of that is this is such an injustice to the citizens of the District of Columbia. The criminals that were committing these crimes aren't held accountable for the more serious crimes, and they're back on the streets. So ultimately, when the police department's out there to protect the citizens, this is the most injustice to them.
This is incredible. I mean, it's just incredible. Is this why she resigned?
So she says it's because of family issues. The timing is very suspect. They knew this report was coming out. They knew the district commanders had gone down to testify, and I'm sure they had a very good feel of what was going to be coming out of the report. So I'm very suspect of the timing. I can't say for sure, but it's interesting. The mayor has come out in support of the police chief repeatedly. Morale on the department. I talk to Capitol Police and DC Police on a regular basis, but morale on DC Police Department is as low as it's ever been that I've seen.
Why?
Again, that all goes back to leadership. You have bad leadership, you have bad morale. And that's a lot of people have been leaving DC Police. I think it's specifically one because of the legislation from the city council, but also morale on the police department. Poor leadership, people are going to leave. So we'll see who replaces her. And see what it does to the department and get them back on track as far as their morale. But yeah, I'm very suspect of the timing. There's reasons behind everything. So I don't know that.
I'm running out of time. Can you hang around for another segment, another couple minutes? All right.
Absolutely, John.
Stunned, and we got Michael Letts coming up as well. Hang in there. You're on Outside the Beltway. I'm John Fredericks, and I am your blowtorch show, Free Speech in America. Hey, thanks for being with us today. As always, great to have you with us. We got Chief Sund here. Always good to have the chief with us, former police chief, Capitol Police. So when we talk about morale, Chief Sund, and cooking the books, I'm trying to figure out what the purpose of this is. I mean, President Trump came in. I live in D.C., the metamorphosis here in 10 months since he put in the National Guard, since he's demanded that things get better or threaten home rule, has been the change has been incredible. And we're only the tip of the iceberg. It's been fabulous. National Guard. Now, but with the morale, we need another 1,000 police officers. If morale is down and they're cooking the books, how do you get that? How do you recruit them? Because we're down 1,000.
Again, it's going to come back to strong leadership. They have a good retirement. They have good pay. You have good leadership. You're going to be able to get the officers back. And you're absolutely right. When you cook in the books, you asked about what is the purpose. They're reporting a 24% decrease in violent crime. The purpose is to make them look good. But you lived in Washington, D.C. You talk to your neighbors. The perception is they're not safe in Washington, D.C. People knew those numbers couldn't be legitimate. They're way too low, especially some of the sex crimes. Sex crimes just don't flow, ebb and flow like that. So it was, to report lower numbers. The problem is now they've lost credibility. So when you talk about trying to refill those numbers, and like you said, they're down to 3,100 officers. They need 4,000 officers. So they're almost 1,000 short. Who's going to want to go and work for a organization that's known not to be credible? They had this problem decades ago when they had to fix it. They're thought of as a very, very good police agency, and now you have this blemish on them. So they got to overcome that. They got to overcome that with strong leadership, good policies, and good reporting. My big concern is this isn't going to be the only city that's subject to this. Crime stats are subjective. This could be going on in a number of your other cities that are saying, hey, we're reporting decreased crime. Well, now we got to take a second look at that.
So how do you a crime is a crime, right? I mean, somebody is arrested or somebody, calls 911 or the cops come out and investigate it. How do you not report a crime?
For you and I, it seems to make sense. Okay, somebody shoots somebody, that's assault with a deadly weapon. Let me go ahead and take the report. Well, this gets back now to the office and they go, well, actually that's endangerment with a firearm. Now that's not a part one offense. That's not a reportable offense. It's not going to go on your violent crime stats. It's an endangerment. Where did that come from? That wasn't even a consideration when I worked for DC Police, but that's what you're hearing now. They're taking these violent crimes and they're reducing them to like endangerment type of crimes. And again, that's just that's subjective, and that's just reducing it so you don't have to report it on your violent crime stats.
So, what should Mayor Bowser be looking for in a new police chief? And what about you?
You know, they know how to reach me. Actually, I've gotten a number of calls saying, "Hey, you know, would you consider it? Would you apply? I want to see what type of a process they do to pick a police chief." And I would say this not just for DC. I'd say this for any police agency, any city that's looking for police leadership. Look for strong, capable leadership. Don't look for somebody that's going to be able to be political with your, city council, with your mayor. Look for somebody that's going to be a great leader for your men and women that are out there risking their lives to protect your community and taking care of your community. That should be your number one concern. Not, how are they going to be with diversity? How are they going to be with, the different groups out there, the special interest groups? It should be about what are they going to do to keep my community safe? And that's what they need to focus on.
Well, Chief Sund, I can't think of a better police chief applicant than you would be. You know the city, you live here, you were chief of the Capitol Police, you know the Capitol, you got a great relationship with the officers. Recruiting is going to be one of the biggest issues. We're down 800, we need 1,000. Now the National Guard extension is ostensibly up on New Year's Eve, so they got to figure that out. I can't imagine this city without the National Guard. I just can't imagine it. Nobody wants to go back, Chief, to the way it was. Now they're cooking the books with crime. We knew it was worse than they were saying. Now you find out why. I can't think of a better, more qualified, more dialed in applicant that would solve a multitude of problems in this city as police chief. I think you ought to apply. The other thing is you got to get in there before Bowser leaves, because whatever you think of Bowser, and I don't think she's been a bad mayor, but whatever you think of her, her replacement is going to be worse, dude. It's going to be really bad. I mean, we got this Janice Lewis George is probably the favorite to be the Democrat nominee. She's to the left of Madami. She doesn't even want cops. I mean, this thing is going to go back to the way it was. And I think if she gets elected, you're going to end up with home rule.
That's going to be a tough situation. I agree with you. I think Mayor Bowser, there's been times I'm sorry. They need to make a decision. I agree with you. They make a decision soon, and we'll see where we go.
Well, are you going to apply?
If it comes open and they do a national search, I'm definitely considering it. I'll tell you this: if nothing else, it'd be nice if they looked out and they wanted me to give some advice, or be on a selection committee of some sort, because I have a 30-year history in Washington D.C. Worked very closely with them, and know what the men and women of the police department would like. But I'd love to help in any way possible. Think very much of law enforcement in Washington D.C. and want to see it get back on track. And you're absolutely right. The leadership in D.C. politics has everything to do with how your police department is run. The city council, you've got Charles Allen, you've got so many people on the city council that pass these legislations that just hamstring the police department. That's got to change. They got to look at, what is safety and security in the streets of Washington, D.C. And like you said, the perception a year ago from today was far different than it is today.
It really is. I mean, when I first got here in December of 24, you really couldn't walk down the street after 5 o'clock. You just couldn't do it. I live near McPherson Park. I look out the window. I went out one day. I counted the tents. This was in when I first got there. There were 71 tents there. I mean, it was a city in a park, rats running all over the place. I mean, it was just so disgusting. Drug dealers there, selling drugs right in the park. Nobody did a damn thing. Garbage all over the place. People just no bathrooms there, just doing it on the, it was so bad. It was like, oh my God, how can you live here?
And
1 year later,
yeah.
It's all cleaned up.
Yeah, and that's just 2 blocks from the White House. Think about it. It's just a little bit north of the White House, McPherson Square. So when President Trump came in, and people were surprised that he's looking to clean up graffiti, clean up just how things look in the city, he's detail oriented. I'd get notices where he would call into the mayor's office as they're doing motorcades, and he was calling about street lights and about graffiti on the side of the street. This guy knows what's going on in the city. He's extremely detail oriented, and like you said, to have McPherson Square being a tent city just blocks from the White House, that wasn't going to stand very long. And it's complete 180-degree change.
Unbelievable. And But you know what's amazing is as toughest thing on the cops that have been here, and we're down about 800 from where it ought to be. But as bad as it's been, and I've always said this, and I want to get your take on why this is. The police officers, the DC cops, I have found over my years coming here and now living here, are the nicest, most professional officer corps I've ever encountered in any city in America. And it was even that way when things were bad. Why is that?
They're great officers. It's the variety of policing that they're exposed to. One day you can be out, walking foot in Anacostia dealing with homicides, and then the next day you're protecting the president of the United States. So think about the variety, and it's not unusual. We'll pull officers out of the districts because that's what I did. I protected actually every living president. We deploy them, so you have a variety of experiences that you're having, but they're very professional officers. They're very professional. They care about what they do. They need that strong leadership. But I agree with you, and I appreciate you saying that because they are some of the best professional police officers out there.
Without a doubt, and I've said that forever because I lived here part time, 2017 to 2020 during Trump won, and I'd go back in the weekends, but I'd be up here like Tuesday to Friday, and I got stopped a couple of times for didn't make the right turn, stuff like that. I remember what because they have all these cameras here, so the first month I was here, I got like $700 in like speeding tickets. I'm like, where the hell am I speeding? So it doesn't go against your license or anything, but you got to pay it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't pay it and they find your plate, they'll put the lock thing on your
boot. Yeah, they'll put a boot on your
and you got to pay it. But the reason, so I went to an officer. I said, why am I getting all these tickets? He's like, dude, 25 miles an hour is a speed limit in the city. 25 miles an hour. There's cameras all over the place. So if you go 30, you're going to pay $100. So don't go 30, go 25. Just don't even think about it. Just look at your speedometer because this is how we make a ton of money. This is how we fund the government. So, but then we find out if you're coming here from out of town and you don't come back a lot, they have no ability to collect the money if you're not a DC plate holder. So they have no ability to collect it. So people just throw it in the garbage. But if you come back and you park and they run your plate, then they're gonna put that wheel lock on it. But
they keep working on that reciprocity situation so they can reach out to other states to collect that fine. But you're absolutely right. There's a lot out there. You get right turn on red, you get stop sign now. They have photo enforcement for stop signs. There's a lot out there. You just got to be aware of it.
But it makes you like when it first started happening here, I was pissed off because my wife is saying, "What keep getting these? Like, what are you doing? Like I can't afford this. You're going to bankrupt the whole company with you drive." So finally, you just start doing what you have to do. Like you don't roll through a stop sign, you don't go over 25 miles an hour, you don't roll through a yellow light because you're going to get nailed. But then the other thing is, we said, look, just figure out the metro and the bus system, which I did. So now I don't drive at all. So I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Well, it's all about behavior modification, and it seems like it worked with you, John.
It definitely worked. I mean, you think about driving 25 miles an hour through the entire district. Like that is it. And, you'll be on some of these roads and there's nobody there. So you go in 35, you're not even thinking about it. Boom, $100.
Yep, there's that flash. Yeah. I agree with you. It's interesting. And even in some neighborhoods now, they've reduced the speed limit to 20 miles an hour.
20?
There's some neighborhoods in DC that have reduced it to 20. Yep.
I tell you what, best thing to do is fill up your Metro card and take Metro. Then you don't have to worry about it.
There you go.
Take Uber, right?
Yeah.
Or Lyft.
There you go. Not a bad idea.
Stevenson, I hope one day to come into your office and address you as DC Police Chief Son. That would be a wonderful thing for our city.
Well, we'll look forward to connecting sometime, but we'll see what the future brings. We keep trying.
Chief, people want to follow you. Where do they go?
I'm Chief Sund on Twitter, Chief SUND. He's on X. Sorry. They can follow me there. I don't post often, but when I do, it's going to be something important. So I'd appreciate that, and look forward to connecting. And wish you and your viewers a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And to you and your family, Merry Christmas, former Capitol Police Chief Steve Sund. Michael Letts chomping at the bit. He's next. Keep it right here. Plus your calls, 888-480-JOHN.